When we think about the cosmic horrors of the Lovecraftian universe, one name immediately haunts our minds: the giant, tentacled, great old one, Cthulhu. This terrifying god sleeping beneath the sea can drive mortals insane with but a single glimpse. But there are beings in this universe far darker and more terrifying than even this guy. Beyond the mortal world lies beings so alien, so powerful, and so incomprehensible that they test the ultimate fears of humanity. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into some of the most terrifying creatures that can make even Cthulhu seem tame in comparison. Let's dive on in. Azathoth. First up on our list of scary cosmic horror entities is Azathoth, also known as the Blind Idiot God, who's so terrifying that even Cthulhu would tremble at his sight. However, unlike Cthulhu, Azathoth is not aware of his power or even existence. Instead, he merely sits at the center of the universe while writhing and mindlessly bubbling in a state of eternal chaos, due to which he's also referred to as nuclear chaos. He has neither personality nor agency, and thus he's been described as amorphous, a constantly shifting mass. Yet his powers know no bounds, and if Azathoth is to wake up from his slumber, he would engulf all of reality into nothingness. To avoid the dissolution of reality, Azathoth is also surrounded by lesser gods who are on an eternal mission to keep Azathoth asleep by playing monotonous and maddening music. The cosmic hierarchy of Azathoth is indeed scary, since he's both the creator and the ultimate destroyer of reality. It's said that all of reality is simply a dream of Azathoth, and that's why it's essential to keep him asleep. After all, what could be scarier for humanity than their existence hanging by a fragile thread on the slumber of an idiot and blind god who's not even aware of its own existence? This guy here is the superior being, a deity at the top of the hierarchy who any other deity cannot defeat, let alone mortals, and everyone's best bet is to hope he remains dormant in his sleep. Nyarlathotep. In terms of power, Azathoth may trump all, but in terms of malevolency, there are hardly any who can trump Nyarlathotep, the next cosmic entity on our list who dwells in the world of seven suns. He's one of Lovecraft's most unique and chilling creations who, unlike other cosmic gods like Azathoth, is not a mere mindless force, but rather intelligently cunning and constantly looking to trick humanity. He doesn't simply exist in blind chaos like the Outer Gods or the Great Old Ones. He takes pleasure in actively interacting with humanity to torture and manipulate them, and is known to have first appeared on Earth in the era of the first pharaohs. Driving the mortal souls mad in despair is his ultimate goal, and to achieve that, he shapeshifts and takes different forms as he pleases. One moment he can be the most charming and charismatic man, and in the next moment he can change into a grotesque monster. This helps him to infiltrate human societies with ease and carry on the tasks he's entrusted with, i.e. serving as the messenger and soul of the Outer Gods and acting as their face and voice in the mortal world. He is an omnipotent being who can shift shape, induce visions, manipulate civilizations, and even warp reality. Despite these cosmic powers, his intelligence is his greatest weapon, which allows him to understand exactly how to break humankind. He first appeared in a short story by Lovecraft in 1920, following which he made recurring appearances in The Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath, The Dreams in the Witch House, The Haunter in the Dark, The Whisperer in the Darkness, and many, many more. Yog Sethoth. Next on our list is Yog Sethoth, the all-in-one, the one-and-all, who isn't just a cosmic being, but rather an embodiment of time and space and one of the most incomprehensible and terrifying entities created by Lovecraft. He's neither in a deep cosmic slumber nor bound by the depths of the ocean like Cthulhu. He's omnipresent within all realities and even beyond realities, can perceive everything across all dimensions. Yet the past, present, or future, there's nothing that Yog Sethoth isn't fully aware of or that is hidden from his cosmic gaze. He can be described as a cluster of glowing orbs that defy any type of logic or form, and in some versions, he also has tendrils and eyes. He is the ancestor of Vormi and is known to be the progenitor of Cthulhu, thus making him far superior to Cthulhu. He made his first appearance in The Case of Charles Dexter Ward, and in the Dunwich Horror, he even goes on to father hybrid twin children with a human. However, in most narratives, Yog Sethoth exists as a silent entity and only speaks once with Randolph Carter in the story Through the Gates of Silver Key. He's worshipped by mortals and called upon by them to realize their occult rituals, including resurrecting the dead using essential salts. Shub Nigaroth. The next Lovecraft entity making it on our list is the ever-terrifying Shub Nigaroth. Often called the Black Goat of the Woods with 1,000 young, this unsettling and mysterious entity is known to be a goddess of monstrous fertility who's worshipped across several cults hidden across dark forests and groves. She's an outer god who appears to be a hellish, cloud-like being, sometimes with black tentacles, goat legs, and a slime-dripping mouth, and she's wife to the not-to-be-named one, most probably referring to Yog Sethoth. Shub Nigaroth was first mentioned in The Last Test. Unlike the other entities, she doesn't appear a lot in the main storylines of Lovecraft. However, she is mentioned several times in stories like the Dunwich Horror and the Whisperer in the Darkness. She doesn't contribute much to the plot, but is painted as a cosmic mother who endlessly spawns alien offspring that lead to the spread of corruption and chaos across the world. She's the ultimate embodiment of primal, unstoppable life who's sought by her occult followers to perform hideous rituals. Some of her most well-known worshippers include the Movians, the Hyperboreans, and the people of Sarnath. As mentioned in The Horror in the Gallery, she is also known to have mated with Haster to produce offspring like Zar, Ithaqua, and Loigor. Even though there are speculations that she resides on the planet Yadith, her actual residence is not confirmed and remains a mystery. The Color Out of Space. Next, we have another hauntingly unique creature from the horrific world of Lovecraft who can give Cthulhu a run for his money, the Color Out of Space. Unlike Cthulhu, or any cosmic entity for that matter, this guy doesn't have a shape or form and is incomprehensible to human eyes. He's pure energy, never seen before, something completely alien and beyond the perception of reality. The Color made his first appearance in Lovecraft's short story named after him, The Color Out of Space, in 1927. In this storyline, he comes to Earth inside a meteorite which slowly leaks shimmering energy and crashes on a farm in Arkham. Following the crash, the indescribable shimmering glow encapsulates everything around, from the land to the water to all living things nearby, and causes unnatural events like plants turning gray and unnaturally large and animals turning grotesque. Its energy even causes humans to suffer a horrifying and slow decay. Unlike sadistic entities like Nyarlathotep, he doesn't have a motive, nor does he have any personality like Cthulhu. The Color, just like Azathoth, simply exists, and just by existing, feeds off of Earth's life forms and spreads like a cosmic disease. He can be compared to a natural disaster that's unstoppable or an alien plague that leaves the beings of Earth powerless. In many ways, this is much scarier to humanity since it engulfs them in the fear of the unknown. The Color depicts that even the most mindless and silent force can destroy humanity out of existence, and since the being is virtually invincible, his existence itself is a threat to not just humanity, but the entire ecosystem. The King in Yellow. The next chilling entity on our list, the King in Yellow, originates from Robert W. Chambers' collection of short stories of the same name, published in 1895. It draws inspiration from the supernatural stories of Ambrose Bierce and was later incorporated into Lovecraft's Cthulhu mythos. In Chambers' narratives, he's associated with a mysterious play. The color yellow is reminiscent of the 19th century aesthetics and an insinuation of decay. The play of The King in Yellow is a two-act play, a forbidden text, which, if one reads or watches, can cause you to fall into a hopeless despair and even insanity. In the play, the king is described as a masked and yellow-robed figure hiding a face that mortals can't comprehend. In Lovecraft's version, the narratives of the King in Yellow draw a connection to Haster and the otherworldly city of Carcosa. He acts as the agent of Haster to herald madness through literature, art, and secret cults. Unlike other sinister, otherworldly beings, he doesn't directly destroy or conquer. Instead, he infects society from within to cause its collapse. Thus, his strength is more existential and psychological in nature rather than physical power. It is through his influence that he corrupts his victims and drives them to madness. He represents the horror of ideas and depicts that even a single story, thought, or image is enough to unravel the human mind. The Great Race of Yith. Next up is another unique and unsettling creation from the world of Lovecraft, the Great Race of Yith. The Great Race of Yith originates from the planet Yith and managed to escape from their home planet to Earth by swapping their minds with another cone-shaped species. On Earth, they established their residence in the city of Panacotus in Australia's Great Desert. This race was first introduced in 1936 in The Shadow Out of Time as hyper-intelligent beings who have mastered time travel, not traditionally through time machines, but through swapping minds with others. They have been described as tall, towering creatures with claw-like arms, 4 appendages, trumpet-like organs, and a head with sensory organs. However, even though they look like distorted aliens, they've been depicted as great scholars driven by an obsessive thirst for knowledge. Unlike the other horror entities of Lovecraft's universe, they're not motivated by violence or conquest. Instead, they're on a quest for knowledge from all eras, and whenever the existence of their species is threatened, they inhabit the minds of new hosts, thereby achieving immortality. While they're not inherently violent towards human society, they're still one of the biggest threats to humanity. Imagine waking up in an alien body on a distant world, your mind forcibly swapped and your life stolen, all this just to maintain the vast libraries that chronicle the secrets of the universe. While Cthulhu terrorizes humankind with physical annihilation, the great race of Yith are mere archivists and historians, inflicting a subtle horror of stolen identity upon humans. The mind control powers of this race are unstoppable, and with their evolved minds, they can easily project their consciousness across space and even time. The Black Pharaoh. Another spine-chilling being from the world of Lovecraft is Neferin Ka, better known as the Black Pharaoh. He's neither like the Great Old Ones nor like the Outer Gods. He's a unique entity who was once mortal and an ancient pharaoh who ruled mercilessly, inflicting horrors upon his subjects as a worshipper and an avatar of Nyarlathotep. His rule was so wicked that those that came after him tried to erase him from the pages of history. He was first mentioned in 1926 in the short story The Outsider and later appeared in the case of Charles Dexter Ward. During his life as a mortal, he was known to perform dark sacrifices along with other terrible rituals to gain the favor of Nyarlathotep. He's depicted as a pharaoh dressed in traditional attire and ornaments, but with his face absurdly twisted. At times, he's also portrayed as having some inhuman features linked to the influence of Nyarlathotep, which depicts his transformation from human to abominable cosmic avatar. His biggest power is dark magic, through which he can summon otherworldly entities and manipulate minds to invite chaos and corrupt souls. The Black Pharaoh is a horrifying reminder that the true face of evil doesn't dwell within cosmic forces, but can emerge from mankind itself. The Whisperer in Darkness. Next up on our list lies another horror entity straight out of the sci-fi and horror narrative of Lovecraft, the Whisperer in the Darkness, first appearing in a novella of the same name and published in 1931 in Weird Tales. The name doesn't refer to a single horrific creature, but a group of creatures, referred to as Migo, who embody the fear of manipulation and extraterrestrial intrusion. These creatures have been described in the novella as crustacean, otherworldly beings who look like fungus without any recognizable face, with an anatomy so bizarre that it's beyond the understanding of humankind. The soft and strange fungal matter that makes up their anatomy makes them immune to earthly conditions. They are also masters of both occult knowledge and science and are known to dwell on Earth in Vermont to mine rare minerals. These are incredibly intelligent and technologically superior creatures who can capture human brains and store them in brain canisters to conduct abominable experiments on them. They also have the power to travel through the cosmos at will and often force their victims to travel with them, discarding their bodies and forcing them to live inside the brain canisters. Haunter of the Dark. Next on our list is the Haunter of the Dark, a terrifying entity first featured in Lovecraft's 1935 story, The Haunter of the Dark. This creature, assumed to be the avatar of Nyarlathotep, is closely linked with a cursed artifact known as the Shining Trapezohedron, which is an otherworldly crystal that serves as a window for endless cosmic horrors. The Haunter, who's described as a shadowy bat-like creature with 3 glowing red eyes, is best known for his sadistic manipulations using infinite disguises. His eyes radiate malevolence, but his greatest weakness is that, similar to vampiric existence, only appear in the dark in the absence of light. However, it is unknown how the creature reacts to light. In the Lovecraft universe, the Haunter is worshipped and summoned by a cult of followers in a decaying Providence church using the Shining Trapezohedron. Through this ritual, the cult also gets a glimpse of the other dimensions. The Haunter feeds on the weaknesses and curiosity of humans who seek forbidden knowledge and inflicts psychological terror upon them. Some of his most notable powers include the ability to induce insanity, supernatural speed, the ability to move across dimensions, invulnerability towards physical attacks, and the ability to appear instantly in darkness. To put it simply, the Haunter is a dangerous cosmic predator who punishes humankind for their thirst for forbidden knowledge with merciless horror. You just have to wait until the light goes out and be very, very afraid of its sudden strike. Hounds of Tindalos. As we're almost at the end of our list, we certainly can't skip the indomitable and utterly terrifying extra-dimensional Hounds of Tindalos, introduced in 1929 in Frank Belknap's story of the same name and later merged into the Lovecraftian mythos. These creatures were mentioned in the Lovecraftian universe in the story The Whisperer in Darkness, Imagine the fear of being hunted, but on a much larger, unimaginably cosmic scale. That's what these hounds represent. In appearance, they somewhat vaguely resemble canines of the human world, but are much more fluid and distorted, with elongated bodies and deep blue ichor. It's almost as if they don't have bodies at all. They defy all natural laws, and unlike most beings, including humans who live within the curve of time, the hounds are known to dwell in the angles of time. This unnatural existence gives them the unique ability to appear any time wherever there's an angle or a sharp corner present. Prior to their arrival, smoke starts to seep through the corners, and upon their arrival, they use their hollow proboscises to hunt and feed on their prey. The history of their origin is unknown, but it's believed that these hounds might have possibly existed since the beginning of time. Abhoth! Last but not least on our list is Abhoth, a frightful being dwelling in the cavern of Ika beneath Mount Vormithadreth. This being was first mentioned in Clark Ashton Smith's short story, The Seven Gaiuses, in 1932, after which the character was integrated in Cthulhu mythos, the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. He was initially represented as an outer god, but later was stated to be a great old one. He is also referred to as the source of uncleanliness, as he embodies filth and primal chaos. Its appearance is utterly revolting. A massive, gray, shapeless mass of mud that constantly oozes and seethes, sprouting countless monstrous appendages and birthing grotesque spawn. These monstrous offspring then crawl away from their parent, but Abhoth reabsorbs most of them back into its body through its limbs and tentacles. In a way, he devours his own children. One interesting thing about these offspring is that no two offspring of Abhoth are alike. Some have singular body parts, while others are amorphous blobs, and some are even strange humanoids, but one thing is common amongst them all. They are all simple-minded beings who act on impulse. This being doesn't have an intent of malice or violence like Cthulhu, but just by simply existing, it continues to pollute, and if anyone falls into Abhoth's pool of mess, they get instantly devoured by the offspring of Abhoth. Honorable mentions! We might be done with our top 12, but we're definitely not done with our list yet. Lovecraft has a lot more to offer to horror dynamics. Here are a few honorable mentions who lurk in the shadows and haunt our imaginations. Eigolina! We can't end our list without mentioning Eigolina, a revolting headless entity, the god of perversion and depravity, also known as the Defiler. He resides outside our reality in a forbidden space, and to be summoned by those who are mindless enough to read about him through the fiction of Revelations of Glauci. Once summoned, he hypnotizes and paralyzes his victims, then forces them into submission and becoming his priests. He takes immense interest in immunity and relishes forcing humanity to succumb to all kinds of perversions. His acts are so horrific that even the Cthulhu cult holds him in contempt. Gatana Thoa. To end this segment, we have Gatana Thoa, better known as the Dark God, who first appeared in the story Out of the Eons. He's supposed to be the firstborn of Cthulhu and is so abominable that even a gaze upon his monstrosity can petrify people into living mummies. After being immobilized by Gatana Thoa, the skin of the victims turns into leather-like shells, but their brains remain conscious, thus inflicting torture. He's known to have been brought to Earth from Yoggoth, the home planet of the Migo, by aliens, and resides within a colossal fortress in a mountain in the continent of Mu. However, even after the continent Mu sank beneath the Pacific Ocean, traces of his worship could be found across the world, including in countries like Egypt, China, Persia, Africa, Mexico, and Peru. Marvelous verdict! And there you have it, a glimpse into some of the most nightmarish cosmic entities from the Lovecraftian universe who represent each and every flavor of existential terror. To beings who actively engage in torturing humankind, to the so-called gods who inflict terror merely by existing, these beings serve as a constant reminder of just how fragile humanity really is. Speaking of fragile, that's the end of our video and we're pretty broken up about it. However, don't forget to like this video and check out our channel for all sorts of marvelous horror content, including more Lovecraft videos and lots of videos about modern and classic slasher flicks. There's something there for everybody and we hope you check it out. Otherwise, thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.